So let's start with cloud codes. In order for you to find it, you're just gonna have to Google cloud codes. Once you Google cloud codes, you should click this link, and that will take you here. Now, in order for you to install it, you're just gonna have to paste these codes in the command line. Let's do it right now. So I'm gonna open my PowerShell, which I am right now here. Paste it here, and I just hit enter, and it's going to install your cloud code. But you first need to have an account, right? You need to sign up. Once you sign up, you will be good to go. Then you go inside your project, and here I'm on the backend, but at the root of your project, you should install it at the root of your project, and you should be good to go. Now, one of the things that I like about Cluster, let me actually launch it, because this is part of the process. So the last step will be to launch Cloud, and you should be able to see something that's going to appear. Here you go. Now, you can ask multiple questions from the command line. If you never used the command line before, don't be afraid of doing it. One of the things that you can do is say create. First of all, I should be under the backend folder. So let's create a virtual environment in the backend folder, and it's going to do that for you. I've already one created, so I wouldn't worry about it. And once you're done with that, then another prompt you can send would be install the libraries that are located in the requirements.txt file, and it's going to do that for you as well. Okay, so make sure you give those instructions to Cloud. Now let's go ahead and do that manually. If you want to do that manually, you want to open your command prompt. That's what I use, and you just go with virtual env and then the name of your virtual environment. So here I have .venv.sk. When I launch that command, it's going to create the virtual environment in it. Then I cd that virtual environment. Of course, I need to be under the backend folder. Okay, don't forget to be under the backend folder, and then you do virtual env.venv.sk, and then once you launch that, you cd venv.sk and then scripts, and you will be under that folder, and then you can do pip install -r requirements.txt. So that's pretty much what you have to do, and it's going to install all these libraries for you. So that's how you create your virtual environments. Now I have my cloud installed, and I'm pretty much ready to go. Let's set up the virtual environment now that we have created it. So I'm gonna go to, there are different ways of doing it. I'm gonna go to my command prompt, and I am going to access my virtual environment folder. So cd backend, and then my virtual environments, and then I'm going to install the requirement file. Okay, so it's gonna be cd scripts, and once I'm in script, actually I can activate my virtual environments, and then go back to the beginning. Let me see what are the files that are in there, and here is my requirement file, which I can now install. So it's gonna be pip install -r requirements.txt. So what this is going to do is going to install all the requirements, all the content of the requirement file, which is Semantic Kernel, Pandas, FastAPI, and UV-Corn. So now that I'm done with this, I should be good to go. But let me first walk you through the different files that are under the backend folder. Let's go over the different files under the backend folder. So the first file I want to catch your attention on is the destination.py. What this is the plugin. And what is a plugin? A plugin is a tool that you give your semantic kernel AI agent to perform a specific task. In this specific case, like I was mentioning at the beginning of this lecture, we want the AI agent to plan the trip for us. So we have a list of destinations. You can see here, Barcelona, Spain, and so on and so forth. What it's going to do is going to take all these destinations, take them, pick them randomly, one choice randomly, making sure that the last one that was picked is not going to be the same for the next call. But this is pretty much what it's doing. Now, the reason why we will need this is because we want to attach this tool to the AI agent, and you will see that when in the main underscore dev py file. Let me explain you a little bit what's happening here. So you have the library installed, then you have the virtual environment, not the virtual environment, the .env file loaded here. Okay, as you can see. What do I have inside? Let's go through it. First, you can see the endpoints. And where can I find these endpoints? You just have to go to your Azure subscription. And this is where my OpenAI resource is created. Once I have my OpenAI resource created, I go to keys and endpoints. And here you have your endpoint. You can just copy that and paste it here. Okay. The second thing that you want is the deployment name. Where can you find it? You go to Overview. You click on this Azure AI Foundry portal, and it's going to take you to this page. Once you're in this page, you scroll down, you go all the way to deployment, and you can create one yourself by clicking this button, and it's going to create one for you. I already have created one. I don't need to create another one, but for simplicity, what you want to do is you want to put the model name as the deployment name, just to make it easy for your own sake. Now, I have those two ready. You may ask me, why don't you have the key? Well, because I want to make it easy for myself. In this specific case, I want to use manage identity instead. And manage identity is going to create a token that can change at any time. The token will be collected, and you can see here the code of how the token was created. So this token will be passed into the Azure chat completion class, and it's going to do all the work for you. It's going to generate a key, or in this specific case, token. And from there, that you can start building your kernel. You add the service from the chat completion, and you add the tool that I was talking about for the semantic kernel to work. Now let's get to the FastAPI portion. You can see here that I have created my FastAPI instance. It's going to be connected to my dev computer with localhost port 3000. And this is actually what we are going to use to connect our Next.JS UI to the FastAPI. But when you go down, you can see the instruction. You have the kernel that was created, the kernel function that was created a little bit toward the top, brought here. You have the name of your agent, and then you give the instruction. You are a helpful AI agent that can help plan vacation for customers at random destinations. So at this step, you want to start creating the thread. And you can see that I have my thread initialized, and my user prompt also initialized. Now, in order for that to happen, I want you to take a look at how the request is passed into the function of the post request, pretty much. So, and chat request is pretty much a FastAPI data model, which is pretty much simple. It has the prompts as a string input. Really, that's pretty much what it is. And from here, right, what I'm doing here is I'm creating a function that help parse the output, because the output for me didn't come right, and I had to ask Claude to give me a good output where I will have every single step line up properly or formatted properly. You can see how the line are split here. And yeah, pretty much that's pretty much a formatting function that help with visualizing way better from the first step. So all this was asked from class. Actually, if I go to the PowerShell and I will launch Claude and ask that question, here's what I will say. I'm already in this main.dev file, right? And I will say format the outputs in such a way that is readable to the user. For instance, I want the step, I want the outputs to have bullet points and well organized with necessary steps laid out properly. And Claude will understand that. He will understand that he will have to put a function together to kind of format the response, right? And this is what I have from there. Now, when you go down, the stream message is really a way to kind of parse properly the output. So you can see the format response text, and then you have the output from the AI agent. And then you really don't need this, but what's important here is the format context, right? And when you go down, this is where the AI agent is invoking everything, the message input, you have the thread, and then the response is captured here and then sent in this specific line of code as a text object. And you can see how I have to really look at the output to find exactly what I want. And at the end, it gets into this streaming message and you're good to go. Now, everything is passed into this app here. Okay, so when I go to the command line, I can just go ahead and type uvicorn main dev app -- reload, and what it's going to do is going to launch my FastAPI application. And don't forget to put docs and this should work for you. Put docs and there you go. You have your FastAPI set up. Let's start testing our backend FastAPI. So I'm going to do uvicorn main _ dev app -- reloads. What it's going to do is going to launch this FastAPI app. And let me put docs here. And here I am. All right, so let's go and test it, okay? I have to click here and try it out. Once I try it out, my prompt will be plan me a trip, okay? And I execute. Now let's wait a little bit to see how the answer will come up. And we can actually monitor this from here. All right, what do we have? So far so good, we have 200, okay. Let's give it a few more seconds. And here we are. Here is our output. But you can see at the same time how the output is coming in a way that is not properly readable. And that's why I was talking about this function format response type that will allow us to get a well formatted response that will be rendered to the UI. So I think we have everything done with the backend. We cover the requirement file for the virtual environment, we cover the tool, and we cover FastAPI. Now let's get to the front end and let's talk about that. So let's get to the fun part of this tutorial. You can see here that I have the backend, and the backend is pretty much done out of Next.JS. There are a lot of files that you need to take into consideration, but we're not going to go into detail with all of it because pretty much all this was done through vibe coding. You can ask Cloud to do this for you. I have used bolts to do it for me, but you could use any other vibe coder to do this for you. But let's start with explaining you what to do step by step. So I'm going to deal with the front end, and I'm going to use, instead of the command prompt or the PowerShell, I'm going to use this time the git bash, and I'm going to cd my front end folder. Once I'm in my front end folder, I want to look at the package.json because this is where all my libraries are installed. So I need to update that. Before you deal with anything that has to do with Next.js, you always want to make sure that you have all your package updated. So npm install, that is the command that you need to launch. Npm install, and that should be it. Once you do that, it should be able to update any libraries that you have. So it is done. Now, let me walk you through every thing that you need to know. Really, what you need to know is this page.tss, because this is where all your components, what we'll call component, a component is a bunch of specific files that do something specific. For example, you have a component for the button, you have a component for the messaging, and you will have a component for the theme. So you have many components, and within those components you can have many other things. So these are all the components that you can see here, but I don't want you to be scared about that. Again, we're talking about vibe coding, and I believe that one of the added value that you can bring in your team as an AI engineer or a data scientist is just going further, right? So you have all these agents doing the work for you, so which means that you can do a lot more and use your productivity better. So I've come to learn a little bit of Next.js and TypeScript, and it's been very, very helpful to me, and I don't regret it. So back to this case. Here's what you need to pay attention to: the page.tss file. And what it has, it pretty much have everything under it. So you can see the chat container, and this is what I'm going to focus on because this is where the FastAPI backend will be located. So you can see here that the chat container has been imported as a library, which is a little similar to Python, right? You create a package and then you import it somewhere else. So you have my chat container, as a component, and let me take you to this chat container. So from the chat container, use client. Just to give you a little bit of explanation of this, use client is just telling Next.js that, hey, you're dealing here with a server and not a front end. So this is very important to mention because otherwise Next.js will not be able to understand that. Next.js can both function as a UI and a server, by the way. All right, so here is, if you remember, your FastAPI endpoints that we were testing earlier, and you have a post request because in my FastAPI main dev I have a post, another get, I have the post request. So you definitely need to match that, and then let me close this. And then you have the header set up, which is application.json. And if you remember, we had set that up as well as a FastAPI data model. So everything is pretty much laid off and built on top of the backend. So with that, I don't. You just scroll. If I scroll down, nothing that I need really to explain. I could have explained it, but I don't need to spend time doing that because this is front end. What you need to keep in mind is just the page .tsx file where everything that you need as far as the endpoint of the backend is located. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to launch this. So in order for that to happen, I'm going to do npm run dev, and it's going to launch the localhost 3000 port that was attached to the FastAPI endpoint that you can see here. And this is the allow core. Now let's go ahead and click here, making sure also that you have your FastAPI backend also running. Otherwise, we will not be able to run it. So let's launch our Next.JS. We had that already, but I lost the page. So let's test it. Let's plan me a trip. Plan me a trip. Once I have that, I can hit enter, and there you go. The agent is working and everything is being processed at the bottom. So let me be specific because I want plan me a trip in Berlin, Germany. Tell me everything that I need to know. All right, and let's launch it and let's see what happens. Let's give it a few more seconds. Things are working in the backend, by the way. Okay, there you go. So it's coming out nicely because of the response parsing. If you remember, this is what we had with FastAPI, right? And then with the help of Cloud, we were able to have our response parsed in a very nice way. So this is how the AI agent were able to respond. He started with the overview and then the best time to visit and everything else coming at the bottom. So that looks pretty good. With that, you can create any AI agent using FastAPI and Next.js. So in our next lecture, we are going to deploy all this into Azure Web App. So don't forget to subscribe and I will see you next time.